Thank you for tuning in to episode 1 of the Extra Meat Podcast. I'm Chuck.
I'm Chad.
And we are here in the Lehigh Valley ready to roll this out. First, we'd like to thank our sponsor,
Easy Micro Studios, Easy Micro Solutions. That's where we're coming from right here. Easy Micro is managed IT services for small businesses. That's what they do. If you need any help with your small business IT solutions, those are the guys to call.
And real quick from our other sponsors. That's right. We don't have no other sponsors. So if you'd like to be a sponsor of the podcast, please email us at extrameatpod@gmail.com and we're going to hook you up. That's what we're going to do.
You sure we have no sponsors?
We have no other sponsors. I looked. The papers are here. There's nothing on the paper.
Yeah. All right. We'll get them.
We'll get them. They're going to come through.
We'll get them.
So we had this discussion, Chad and I here, about a podcast here. We're in the Lehigh Valley, and we wanted to talk about cheesesteaks, and we decided that we didn't want to just talk about cheesesteaks.
So we expanded it a little bit more than cheesesteaks and have an extra meat type of podcast. All kinds of meats, all kinds of foods.
That's it. So we're going to have a lot of guests. We have a really cool, we'll talk about it a little later. We have a cool guest coming in for the next episode. We already have our third episode lined up too, but we'll talk about that down the road. It's just going to be really exciting. I think it'll be fun. Like we'll be talking cheesesteaks, but not just cheesesteaks. We'll be talking meat, but not just meat. And we'll be talking Lehigh Valley, but not just Lehigh Valley. It'll be stuff from all over the place.
Yeah. So we want as much as possible to get our followers to give some input, and we'll take it from there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you have any kind of questions or anything like that, you can throw them in the comments and stuff. We'll address things as we can through these episodes. Like we have a couple questions today that we're going to hit that were thrown onto a post we made just to look for things to talk about, for lack of a better phrase. So, we're going to go ahead and hit a couple of those. I think first we're going to do a little bit of an intro, though. If you're here, you probably already know who at least one of us are. But if you don't, I think we're just going to kind of talk for a couple seconds here about ourselves and just give you a little bit of an introduction on who we are.
Sounds good.
Why don't you go ahead?
Sure. Well, I'm Chad. I'm from SMP Mini Mart. We do specialize in cheesesteaks, specialize all kinds of foods. So that's what we do. I have a history in food making from previous years, previous restaurants. Enjoy food. I think as a whole, Chuck can agree with me here. But if you don't like doing what you do, then you can't do it right. And
absolutely.
And so that's a little bit of who I am. Little history there.
Awesome. So I'm Chuck. Originally born in Brooklyn. I lived there for the first decade or so of my life. Moved to Pennsylvania not long after. I spent roughly 20 years in commercial kitchens. About half of that I was running kitchens. I got a lot of my desire to do so from my grandfather. He was a carpenter by trade, but he just loved cooking. He was always in the kitchen. I went on to win some awards and do some stuff. I won't brag or nothing, but
no, go ahead.
Okay, all right. It became a little much. I started a family. I have kids, and I wasn't seeing them. I wasn't seeing their activities, their sports, their plays, their whatever. So I started blogging, and I also started a social media services company. So right now, at the time of filming, I'm in the ballpark of 130,000 or so followers across socials, and I have 3 awesome clients. I film their social media stuff, and it's great. So yeah, that's kind of
that. There you go, Chuck. There you go.
Yeah, it's exciting.
There you go.
So we did have a couple of questions. And if you left a question, we're going to try and hit it in an episode. We don't know what episode or whatever. We just chose 3. I think we're going to try to hit 3 today that we liked, that we're going to try and hit as well as we can. And moving forward, if you comment on anything past that, moving forward, we're going to try to just phase it in as well as we can. I think that's fair.
Sounds good. We'll try to work off of some of the questions that are given, and if we have some topics that we believe that could be of something that you guys are interested in, we'll hit those as well.
Yeah, and there was 1 or 2 specifically that I really liked that people threw at us, but I thought they were better for the next episode when we have this guest that we're going to have on. So we went ahead and we pushed those off a little bit. But we can start. I guess we could start with Cooper. You think?
Cooper. What's Cooper?
Exactly. So Cooper cheese, my favorite cheese to use on a cheesesteak, Cooper Sharp specifically. The question was, why is it so regional? Like, why is Cooper, like basically just blowing up in this area, but not, the world? I'd like to associate the question with who asked the question, but I couldn't find this. I know somebody asked it. We talked about it, but I couldn't find it in the post. So I apologize to whoever asked this that I'm not going to be able to
but this one's
throw
for
your
you.
name. But this one's for you. Absolutely.
For you.
Absolutely. So this is your question. And you want to give some input on that? Why so regional, Chad?
It's a great question. I don't think there's a real answer to it, but there is probably a reason for it. I think the reason for it is absolutely the cheesesteak. I think the East Coast and the whole, actually not even the East Coast, it's the East Coast up here, the tri-state area, I think is mostly where these cheesesteaks have been a phenomenon, I guess, over the years. It's been an ongoing battle between businesses and people and topic of discussion and who's better and who's not. And I think this is where the Cooper cheese came into play, at least for from what I can gather. It goes into play every time a cheesesteak is put together and how it's melted in and what it tastes like and whatever it may be. But I truly believe that the whole Cooper discussion and the whole Cooper phenomenon here is due to the cheesesteak. However, that being said, you as well as I do, and I from a little bit of what we see here is even throwing that Cooper on an egg sandwich or whatever it may be, just the way it pulls and the way the texture of it, I think is one of the reasons why it's become something of such a big type of deal here.
Yeah, and I think that's how it becomes not so regional. That's I think you're absolutely right. I think it obviously was the cheesesteak that started this, that really propelled it to the next level here. And I think even here you do see that a lot of businesses are starting to use it in many other ways that are not just a cheesesteak. Even specifically your business, you're making a mac and cheese with it and stuff like that. So, and like you said, breakfast sandwiches. I mean, I do that at home all the time as it is. I love having a breakfast sandwich with Cooper on it. And I think it's hard, distribution wise. A lot of places, I know people in Florida that are we can't even get that. It's I'm hoping that using it on these other items, such as breakfast sandwiches and stuff like that, is how it does spread to places like that.
Well, I can agree with you there a little bit, because that Cooper cheese, I think even as of, I don't know if it was a new way of how they were promoting it, but that whole shredded Cooper and all of that wasn't even available through our vendors here and the vendors around here a few months ago. It's something that's taken off now a lot. So, yeah,
and it's funny because it has really changed dramatically. It's I love the flavor of both varieties, but when it was sliced, a lot of people were saying they were struggling with dealing with it. It was it stuck together. Sure. It was hard to peel or break apart, whatever. And now, I know a lot of people just order the shredded because it's so much easier to work with, and it blends, especially in a cheesesteak. It's almost like a glue. It blends it all together really nicely. So even Cooper themselves are kind of, changing with the wind. Right. It's so I'm hoping to kind of go back to the original question. I'm hoping that it won't be regional for long. It's my opinion.
I think once people get a little taste of it, it'll transfer itself over for a lot of people by themselves. I
think so too.
I mean, you know as well as I do. When you mentioned Cooper to me originally, what did I say to you? I said, "The hell is a Cooper?" I had no clue at the time what you were asking, what you were saying there, and.
To be fair, though, my first review, at your restaurant was years ago. So it's not, you weren't exactly behind on the eight ball necessarily. I think I was kind of out in front of it.
No, but I think, like I said, even now, seeing people, be honest with you, seeing just people talking about it, and when you ask them, you say to them, "Hey, do you want Cooper?" They're asked. They many times you see the question is, "What's Cooper?"
Yeah, see, that's interesting.
It happens almost on a daily basis.
And what's funny about that is, maybe it's even more regional than we think then, because I have other clients, let's say in Philadelphia, where that's all they sell. Right. There's every eighth steak, let's say, maybe there'll be a different cheese, but it's 7 in a row, Cooper fried onion. Right. So it's wild. It's see, we're an hour from there.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm telling you, it's on a daily basis where you have somebody who says, "What's Cooper?" And you have to explain it to them. Yeah, yeah, it's a new thing, I guess, around here, I should say. But so it is regionalized, definitely regionalized.
It's wild. Yeah, well, hopefully it continues to grow. I personally, I buy it for the house all the time. I put it on everything.
So do we. So do we.
It's like Frank's hot sauce.
So do we.
I put that on everything.
On everything. That's nice.
All right, so thank you for the question on the Cooper. I think we've kind of wrapped that one up.
So.
We'll go ahead and move to the next question here. I guess we'll do a signature dish. So we're gonna take this question kind of into our own. You know, we're just gonna make it our own. So the original question was if you could choose a signature dish. I'm sorry, from any chef. Who would the chef be, and what would the dish be? And that question. Hold on, I have it right here somewhere. That question was from Chris Sherlow, if I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I apologize. So, so I know I have an almost more direct answer to this. So I think I'll start on this one, and then you can. So, so there's a show I watched years ago on Netflix called Chef's Table, and I think it was like the second or third episode, maybe. The chef's name was Francis Malman, and he like owns an island like in Patagonia. It's like off of Argentina, and he works.
Where at?
Exactly.
Patagonia?
Yeah, I sneezed. Bless you.
Hallmark movie you're talking about here? What is that? What do you mean Patagonia?
Yeah. Well, if it is, I know that she's going to fall in love with the young guy that she loved originally, but he's like a carpenter now or something. I don't know.
Or
how
a
it works.
chef.
It's something like that.
Or a
Yeah,
chef.
It's something. Either way, they fall in love for sure. And the new guy is totally gone. He's probably a jerk. Anyway, so in Patagonia, right? So the chef, Francis Malman, he went through the whole circuit. He did he's classically French trained. He was working in like big, like fine dining establishments all around the world and everything. And he got burned out, and he's like, screw this. And he just like moved. And like, so he made this home, and he does like this like bed and breakfast style thing or whatever. And you like rent it out for 5 days or whatever. I'll get to the cost in a minute. It's horrifying. But he cooks like pretty much exclusively with open flame. So like in this episode, you see like he has like these like, it looks like crosses almost built out of just sticks, and he has like full lamb and stuff just like spread open, like cooking over the fire, and like he's throwing vegetables and stuff into the flames and everything. It's just cool. It's like very like primal, and it's like, I think that would be sick. I think it would be so fun to just like, it's kind of like going back to your roots kind of thing. I think that it would be awesome. Like he obviously knows what he's doing. So, it's, so if you want to go here and have a meal from Chef Francis, I read up that it says for 6 people, you can rent out his home basically for 5 days, and it's in the ballpark of $65,000.
How much?
$65,000 for 6 people for 5 days. Now, I mean, like, granted, that includes lodging and everything and whatever, but
the whole 9 yards.
I mean, it's beautiful. Like I said, I would recommend watching the episode just so you could see. Like, it's really beautiful. It's like very serene. It's quiet. It's whatever. But is it $65,000 quiet? I don't know. It's a lot of money, man. If I had it, I mean, if I was rolling in it and I had it, I would do it. Can I go there tomorrow? Not so much. That's going to stay in the dream bank.
Start a GoFundMe for Chuck to go to this place.
I'm expecting to raise 17 cents. It's going to be wonderful.
That's nice.
So that is my my answer. That is the if I could choose, if money and travel and whatever other things are standing in my way weren't an object, that is my answer.
That's good. Mine's not so expensive, I should say.
That means you might be able to do yours. That's cool.
Mine's not so expensive. So I don't really have a chef I would necessarily say I would that I'm looking forward to eating or would love to eat at. I think, however, any chef that can provide a top of the line type of Italian type food would definitely be the type of way I would look, or what I would look for.
So like a Mario Batali minus all the legal issues.
Whatever.
Right.
Listen, legality has nothing to do with what I'm eating here, man. It's all about the product at the end of the day. What are we getting on the table? What's being served? But yeah, fresh Italian meal from a chef that can do it homemade or however he does it. I think that's the best route for my personal taste. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's definitely like a strong comfort food Italian. You know, it's
Absolutely.
and especially if it's done right. Like you know, like it's so basic, but I love going to a place that'll do like a fresh pasta. Like, you know, and it's like, because a lot of places just don't, you know, it's like, you know, whatever reason they don't have the staff or, you know,
Little Italy.
whatever purpose.
A Little Italy.
Right. So whatever the reason that they don't, you know, if you can find a place that does like a proper, like fresh pasta and like, you know, just like a basic sauce. I mean, it's, you know, it's simple, but it's like wonderful, you know, like
tastes awesome.
I was just talking about that recently. It's like so many dishes that like we like revere are like peasant food. You know, like it's so funny like to think about, like, you know, I had a conversation not too long ago about this because there was a comment made that was kind of like you know, like we're talking about cheesesteaks or burgers, whatever, and it's like, how could you like, you know, review and be like, this is good, this isn't good, whatever. And they're like, it's just a cheesesteak. And I'm like, I don't feel that way. Like personally, like it's not, you know, like let's say like coq au vin, right? It's like braised chicken, but it's like, it's a classic French dish. Sure. It's like a highly revered dish, but it's peasant food. It was food that people cooked because they had nothing else to cook and they figured out how to cook it.
Sure.
So even like it's something like, you know, it's just a cheesesteak. Like that drives me nuts. It's not just a cheesesteak. Like you're using quality ingredients or you're not. Like you're cooking it properly or you're not.
Absolutely.
Like so I every time that I decide to like do a review or even just have a meal in general, you know, like, and just have thoughts to myself about it or whatever, like I never think it's just this. Right. You know, like it's never just food to me.
I mean, what do you have to look forward to as you grow older? Food. If you don't enjoy it, and you don't appreciate it, what is there left, you know?
And even now, I mean, I don't know about you, but I plan pretty much all of my trips on food. Like, you know, like, right. Like if I take a vacation, like I'd like to end up near a beach, but there better be good food.
Well, we like, for me, it's wherever I'm at, we find the food. Yeah. We find the food.
Yeah. And I've had so many trips, you know, that I literally planned. Like it was like, I'd love to go to this area because of the fact that they have this food.
Absolutely.
You know, like, I mean, even just, you know, I've been blessed to be, you know, places like New Orleans and, you know, I mean, even New York City. Like I've been to a lot of good food cities, you know, like LA, right. Chicago, whatever. So like, I know how great it is to be on a trip and be able to experience good food.
Right. No, I hear you. Everywhere we go, like I said, everywhere I go, try to look for the good food and set up the next trip around locations that have something of that nature too.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Meanwhile, you know, I don't know if your kids are the same, but like most kids will be like, yeah, we'll just take a hot dog or, you know,
mac and
easy
cheese.
Mac.
It has to be Kraft. I mean, okay.
It drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. I used to do that in the beginning when I was filming. I used to, I would like go shoot like what I wanted to shoot, and then I'd like run through Wendy's or something for them. It was like, it got to the point where I was like, you're ordering something where we're going, and hopefully you like it.
Whatever it is, right? Absolutely.
We have another organized question here if we want to roll into that.
Sure.
Sweet. So that's the last question here. I'm going to mess up this person's name, and I really apologize. The question is, what is or was your favorite local place for a quick bite from your childhood? Are they still around? And does the taste and experience still hold up? It is Steve Utes, maybe. It's Uetz. I apologize. I know I butchered that. So where is your childhood food?
Well, for me, it's always been sandwiches, always been burgers, always been steaks, sandwiches, always been pizza. Even as a kid. So as a kid, place that the go-to place as a kid was it's no longer there, but it was the hamburger stand. It was cheap hamburgers made however they were made. Couldn't even tell you how they tasted today, but wouldn't even remember. But that was my go-to. It was one of my favorites. I think that was part of burgers, part of my obsession with burgers back then, even then, how it started up. So it's no longer around, but like I said.
Where was that?
It's in Allentown. It was in Allentown, Union. I think it was Union Boulevard or Hanover Avenue, one of those roads over there. That's where that was. But it's no longer there. It's a car dealership now or something of that nature.
What a waste.
So that way, I agree. There's nothing left. I mean, the old school, if you remember what those old school pizza shop type burgers tasted like, something of that nature. But that was my go-to.
Was that like a family thing, or did you go with friends?
It started as family, turned into friends.
Like as you got older, and you were like,
older,
I don't want to be hanging out with my parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
My kids are there now.
It's actually
busy
busy
for me.
It used to sit in front of the a basketball, little basketball court. So go in there.
Perfect.
I think that's why they were there, to be honest with you,
Smart.
to attract.
Now you play basketball and buy a car.
But yeah, right, there you go. There you go.
So for me, if the person who asked this is local to this area, then the answer is not going to help them at all. It was just local to me when I was younger. You know, it's a Brooklyn spot. There's a place called Roll and Roaster. It's in Sheepshead Bay in Brooklyn. And
Roll-in roaster.
Roll and Roaster. Like it's like it's supposed to be and, but it's like N, you know?
Yep.
And it's like a wild, like it's like, you know, still in the 70s kind of like color scheme and stuff like that. It's like old, like, you know, bubble letters and stuff. And it's like funky, but they are what Arby's should be. Okay. Like they do like a real roast beef, like a real roast pork. They have like, you know, burgers and stuff too. But like they were like Zagat review and rated for like their cheese fries. I mean, like it's like the weirdest thing, but it's awesome. And yeah, they do, you know, like you get a proper like, you know, hard roll like a Kaiser, and they'll like, you know, you have to ask for it obviously, but they'll like dip it in the au jus and stuff before they like build the sandwich and everything. So it's like just delicious. It's so good.
Sounds like a type of place that this used to be, like an old establishment that was there for years before different generations and all that.
And then, ironically, it was the same thing for me too. It was like I started going there primarily with my dad. It was like a family thing, and then it ended up being like I'd go with friends. And
Are
stuff.
they still around?
They are, yeah. They're still open. I went just July last year. I did that lemonade thing on 4th of July, and I took Sammy. I took my girlfriend, for whoever doesn't know who that is. She had already been there anyway. We went once before, but we went last year, and I went there, and so there's like a rival business not that far away, Brennan and Cars.
Okay.
Another very similar establishment, you know, the old roast beef inside. Very different decor. It's definitely darker. It's more like, I don't know, adult maybe. Right, I don't know how you would. Right. They serve like, you know, beer and everything, and Roll and Roaster might too anyway. But they're definitely more the, you know, I don't know how you would put that, but either way, and there's a constant, like you could ask like, you know, 10 people in the city, and like 5 will tell you that one's better and 5 will tell you the other one's better. You know, it's like it's like a constant back and forth kind of thing.
Standard.
And for me, it was always Roll and Roaster. It was, you know, it was just that's where my dad liked. That's where I liked. It's right on the water. Like we used to go fishing, deep sea fishing on the boats down there, and like you'd come back from the boat, and like it's right across the street.
It's hard to replace those childhood memories.
It is, yeah.
It really is. I think that's part of a lot of reasoning for a lot of different things being liked in certain areas too. Yeah, well, that's so I catch a lot of crap from people in comment sections and stuff because I really don't like Yakos. I am not a Yakos fan. I'm a Yakos anti-fan. I'm like, I know, keep it away from me. And I've tried multiple locations. I've tried multiple items. It's just not for me. It's but I feel like a lot of people are very nostalgic about Yakos. Like, I don't even think that they think it's so good anymore. I think it's just they're remembering what they had when they were younger, and like it's just like a memory for them like that. Like there's a lot of food, a lot of establishments that are built on that history, whether they're good or not good. I mean, that's entirely up to whoever's eating it. But yeah, I think there's a lot that ties hand in hand with that.
Yeah. And yeah, there's other places like that here too. It's just that's the one that I think is the most prevalent. Maybe that's the one that pops up in my head immediately. Like if I think like foods that people in the Lehigh Valley love because they've been loving them their whole lives, like Yakos is number one. You know, number like one. Whether it's good, not good. I mean, food's subjective anyway. It's your opinion.
You're right.
You know, but yeah, that's definitely number one. Like in my mind, when you think of that kind of thing.
In the area here, you're absolutely correct. Yakko's been around for many, many, many years, and I think it's just people they've been eating it for however long, and they've introduced it to their kids for however long, decades and whatever, and I think that's what keeps it going.
Yeah.
I do.
And it's funny because they have like their major, you know, like Potts, I guess, is their major rival, like their big, you know, but like there's so many others too. Like it was like the Jimmy's in Easton and the Jimmy's in Phillipsburg are like, you know, rival. It's like there's all these like, you know, kind of like little old school food places that are like, you know, going head to head against each other with like
the Geno's and Pat's.
Right. Very similar. Very similar concept. Yeah.
I remember down at Geno's and Pat's, it said, used to be signs up at Geno's that said, if you, I think if it said, if you have food outside of Geno's, you're not allowed to sit here because people were eating from both over there.
Yo, that was the big, I mean, because it's like, that's like the touristy thing, right? Like if you're not from here, like if you go to Philly, it's like, you're going to get one from each and see which one is the one you like or whatever, you know, like.
Right, different style.
So yeah, that, I guess that makes sense that they would get from both and then just sit at one of the tables. So yeah.
Occupy.
That's like so petty. Like,
yeah.
Meanwhile, at this point, I wouldn't get a steak from either of those places. Just me personally. Just me personally. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments.
Let him know. Let him know.
Sure
He's had a lot of cheesesteaks. So it's gonna take a lot to convince him otherwise.
I'll catch a lot for that too. I know it. I already know.
Otherwise,
I know it's coming. I'm fully aware that it's coming.
There's a lot of cheesesteaks now that battle each other, and a lot of burgers that battle each other for quality.
Everywhere too. It's not just, I mean, obviously like the Geno's and Pat's is like the standard for Philly, but staple. It's like
Philly staple, right?
But even past that, like you have like your, like I know people that'll be like, I really like Jim's, and they're like, oh, you need to go to Del Sandro's. It's like,
right.
I don't like either of those places anymore. I did back in the day. Me personally, like I feel like they stayed the same and everyone else upped their game. That's
bread wise, meat wise, cheese wise.
Right, exactly. Right. It's just a personal opinion.
I think as anything else in the world, I mean, as well as I do, if you don't evolve, you get left behind.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, whether it's food or profession or life or whatever it is, you know how it is. So
yep.
I could be part of it. I could definitely be part of it.
Yeah, and I'll probably want to touch on this a little more next episode with our special guest, but
we have a special guest
next episode, but John's roast pork. John is like the nicest guy. Like he's like so nice. And we talked. I was there with a friend of mine, Tyler. He's his food page is Foodula. We talked, and Tyler like kind of like interviewed him a little bit, and he said like, why don't you carry Cooper Sharp? And he was like, I've won so many awards with the cheesesteak I have. I'm not changing it. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it. But like 2 weeks ago, he started carrying Cooper. So now it's like, people are like, what?
Well, I agree. I agree with the fact of if it's not broke, don't fix it. But I also think that option, the extra option, even if it means more work or whatever it may be, to capture the new, should always possibly be a special edition, whatever.
I mean, at least at least a conversation. I mean, and I don't know, maybe that's what sparked him to think about it. I don't know, but he
probably was.
But it was wild to like see. He was like very like steadfast. Like I'm not going to do that. And then like I would say it was probably 4 or 5 months between from when we talked to him till he like that came out. But it was just like, wow, really? I'm like, that's awesome. And I think, I mean, I love Cooper, so I think that's awesome. But there's, if you go through his comment section, it's like split down the middle. There'll be like people that are like, "Oh, Cooper's stupid. Like, why are you doing that? Rah rah rah! Don't pander to them."
I mean, you don't have to do the full switch, but that option's always.
Why not have it there? Why not have it there? So you're stocking one more item,
right? Not a big deal.
No, I don't think so either.
Not a big deal. I agree.
And he has, I mean, not that I want to go too far into that, but his roast pork is so good, so good.
Another type of meat.
Yeah, you know it.
That type of meat.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to have an episode based around that too, because he does the standard, right, is with broccoli rabe. He does spinach. He doesn't like broccoli rabe, so he doesn't even stock it.
Right.
What's up, guys? I'm so sorry about that. As we said, first episode we had a little bit of an issue. Somehow we lost like 5 minutes of audio. But the ending was really just us talking about our guest. We have a really exciting guest. We said a couple times in the episode. His name is Mike. He goes by Godfather of Meat, big food blogger. He has, hundreds of thousands of followers across his socials and everything. Big cheesesteak guy, Godfather of Meat, Extra Meat podcast. We thought it made too much sense. So he's going to be on. It's going to be super exciting. Make sure you tune in for that. That'll be out within a month. Thank you so much for watching this episode also. And leave any comments, suggestions, whatever you got. We're excited. Thanks.